Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Basico ServiceNow Learning. So in today's video we are going to explore variable set in catalog item, or we can say variable set in order guide. Okay, so in this video we are going to see that what is variable set, and we will also do a coding for the same, or we can say scripting for the same. So let's begin. So what is a variable set? So variable set is a collection of variables which is reusable, and we can use variable set in multiple catalog items and order guides. So later in this video you will come to know that how we can use a variable set in a multiple catalog items or in order guide, and how these variable sets are reusable. Okay, so let's see what all use cases we are going to implement today in this video. So this is the use case which we are going to implement today. So this is the requirement that we'll create a variable set with the requirement mentioned below. Below functionality needs to be implemented. The first one is the field value will get auto populated with logged in user details when catalog form gets loaded. The second functionality which we are going to implement is that field values such as email and phone. This email and phone is basically a details of a user will get changed when user change the requester name. So these are basically two functionalities for which we are going to write a script when the form load and when the form get changed. Okay, and below this variable set is basically a variable set name which we are going to give today when we will create a variable set. And these are the variables which we are creating under a variable set. Okay, so these are the variables. The first variable is requester. The type of that variable is reference, and in this field the logged in user name will get populated. The second field is phone, which is a single line text field, and this email is basically a single line text field. Okay, so we can call it variable, but when we talk about like in terms of a form, the catalog item form, then they displayed as a fields. Okay, and after that when the implementation has been done, then we'll perform a testing to validate the implementation and understand that how we can use variable set in multiple catalog items and the benefits of a variable set. Okay, so let's implement this use case in ServiceNow instance. So let's navigate to my ServiceNow personal developer instance. So friends, this is my ServiceNow personal developer instance. So to create a variable set, what we have to do in application navigator, we have to type variable set. See, under service catalog we have an option that we have a variable set. So I am clicking in this variable set module, and we can create a variable set from here as well, even though we can also create a variable set from this maintain item. Okay, when we are creating a catalog item, so in related list we have an option to create a new variable set or to attach an existing variable set. So later in this video we will also having a demo of the same. So currently I am creating a variable set from this variable set window. So I am clicking on a new button. So here we have a two option. The first option is single row variable set, which will look like this, or multiple row variable set, which will look like this. So in this video we are going to create a single row variable set. So now this is a form of a variable set. So as I have mentioned in the use case, the variable set name is requester details. So I am giving a title requester details. Okay, the internal name is auto populated over here. Then order is basically that on what sequence you want to display the things. Okay, so here I am saying demo set. Okay, here it is display title. So if you click on the checkbox, then it means that this title will also get displayed on the form. So I am saying okay, I want to display the title. Layout is one column wide, two column wide, or two column wide one side, then the order other. I'm just selecting a one column wide. It basically depends on you that in what manner you want to display the created variables or fields in a form. So I'm clicking on this and saving the form so that the rest of the fields will get displayed. So once I save the form or submit the form, so in a variable set we have a related list where we have variables, catalog UI policies, catalog client scripts included in. So this variable basically is used to add the variables. So variables are requester, phone and email. So if we have to create a variables in a variable set, we can create those variables in this tab. If you want to write a catalog UI policies, then we can create a UI policies for the variable set variables from here. Okay, and we can write a catalog client script from here. So in this video we will also write a catalog client script for the variables which we have mentioned over here. So here in the variables we have to create a 3 variables, that is requester, phone and email. So let's create a first variable, that is requester, where the type is reference. So I am clicking on a new button. So till then I'm closing this video, okay, so that we can have a fresh look after creating this variable set. Okay, so the now variable form gets loaded. So here we have a type. So as I have mentioned in the slide that the variable requester is of type reference. Here from the type, that what type we want a single line text, select box or what. So here we want a reference type. Then in what order we want to display it? We want to display it at a first place, I can say 100. Then I am making it as a mandatory, that when user will fill a form, that this field will be mandatory for him to fill it. Now we have quotient. So quotient is basically a label part. Label what will be displayed in a form, at what name. So I am saying requester name, and this is basically used for coding, that is requester underscore name. Now if you want to give some tool tip, you can give it, like what you want to show when the user hover the mouse on this requester name label, or you can give some help text. Let's say I'm saying show help that okay, if you want you can give these things, otherwise not. If it is mentioned in the requirement that you have to give a help over there in a particular variable or a field, then you can give an annotation over here. Then here's a type specification. So whenever we are choosing a reference type, then we have to give a table name, that what all values will get displayed over there. So here I am giving a reference name. So we are talking about requester, so we are talking about, it means we are talking about user table, that is sys underscore user. So here we have sys underscore user. So I have selected that. Now we have another field, that is use reference qualifier. So as we know that we have like 3 types of reference qualifier: simple, dynamic, advanced. I have already created a video for the same. If you want to see that what exactly for this use reference qualifier is used, you can refer those videos. So here I am using a simple. Now this variable information I have given, so I am just submitting this variable. So in this way my first variable has been created, that is requester name. Now I am creating another variable as per as the requirement, that is phone. So here I am saying quotient, the label should be this and name should be phone. In a tooltip I can say that it should be requesters phone number, just for an example, so that I can display you that where the tooltip is displayed. So I am giving order number 200. Earlier I have given the 100 for the requester name. I am submitting it. So in this way second variable has been created. Now third variable is email. It is also a single line text. Okay. I am clicking a new button. So here we are creating a third variable, that is email. Populated. Now I am seeing over here that in a tooltip that it should be requesters email ID. Okay, and I am giving order number 300. Okay, it's not a mandatory, so I am just clicking on a submit. So in this way the requirement of variable and the variable set has been completed. Now what we have to do, we have to implement these 2 functionalities through catalog client script. There is a difference between a client script and a catalog client script. So I have posted a video for the same. You can refer that video to understand that what exactly the difference between a client script and a catalog client script. Okay. So the first thing is that we need to implement is that field value will get auto populated with logged in user detail when catalog form gets loaded. So as per the requirement, when the catalog form loaded in front of a user, then all the three variables or the values will get populated automatically on load. So I am just clicking on catalog client script section, okay, of a variable set, where I am clicking on new button. So here we have a form to create a catalog client script. So I am saying request, you can give any name over here. So I am saying I am giving a variable set name with to select the type, on change, on load, on submits. See, we have only three types over here. Otherwise in the client script we have four types, right? So we are currently writing a script for a on load. So I am saying on load. So here we have another things like active or applies to what. So we want it applies to a variable set currently, and UI type is desktop. Okay, then we have four checkboxes. So where you want to view it, applies on a catalog item, view or requested item, or catalog task, or target record. So I'm saying I want to apply it in a catalog item view as well as in the requested items. So here we have to write the code. So the first thing is, as per the requirement, that the field will get auto populated, means fields are requester, phone and email. So requester details comes from logged in user details. Basically we can access through a object that is g underscore user, okay, glide user class. So here I am saying g underscore form dot set value of what field, requester field, and the requester field is okay, I don't want to refresh the form. So what I'm going to do is I am again opening a variable set from here so that we can navigate directly to copy the things. Okay, so here we have requester details, right, where we have created the three variables. These are the three variables. Here I am writing a script for the same. So I want to populate a name over here of a logged in user. So I am saying, okay, this is the field where I want to set the values. So the value is g underscore user dot get full name. So this is basically used to populate the logged in user full name. The full name of a user is for this window is system administrator. See, we have logged in through system administrator, right? So this code will populate this requested name field with logged in user name. Now we have to fill the email ID and phone, but email ID phone is basically coming from us user table. For example, let's say I am saying users, and see, under organization we have users, so I am clicking on users. So see, we have lots of users available over here. So I am opening any of the user to give you a little understanding. So basically see, this is sys underscore user table from where we want to populate email and a phone number of a user, this business phone number of a user. So we have a username, that's okay, but we have to fetch these values. It means we have to do a database manipulation, right? So for that we can write a glide record script. So I am saying, okay, so I am saying where requester details, this is basically a object of a glide record. Okay, so here I am saying table is sys underscore user. Here now I need to do a query for the same details dot add query. If you want to know more about glide records, you can also refer my the video I have posted for the glide record. So here we are adding a query for the same, that what query we want to hit sys underscore user table to find out the required values of a particular user. So here what we can do is that we can find the user through the sys ID. Okay, so I am saying sys ID. And how we can get a sys ID? So we can get a sys ID of a user like this, g underscore user dot user ID. So in this way, from this we can get a sys ID, and then this will perform a query that the whomsoever user is with the same sys ID will get fetch. Okay, so here we are done with the user ID. Now what we want to do is, like, now we want to perform a query. I am saying query, okay, and now I'm saying while req details dot next. Okay, what it will do, fetch the value of email and phone. Press the details dot phone. See, in sys underscore table, this phone field value is phone, and this email field value is, because we only want these two values, right? Email. Okay, that's good. So here we are doing coding. Here phone, and here we have req details dot email. So these two things will bring the name, phone number, and an email. So now I'm writing a code over here to populate the values in a field underscore form dot set value. On what field? I want to populate this value in the field that is phone and email. Okay, so here these are the name which we are going to use. So I am saying phone. Okay, this is done. Now I am again populating a value in another field, that is underscore form dot set value in email field, right? So in this way, what we did in the first syntax, we are populating a logged in user name in this field, that is requester name. Now then we have write a glide record query to fetch out email and the phone number of our logged in user, and then we are setting the value of logged in user in these two fields, phone and email. So in this way we have written a catalog client script where the type is onload. Let's save this form. So in this way we have finished the first requirement. The first requirement is field value will get auto populated with logged in user details when catalog form gets loaded. Now the another requirement is the field values such as email and phone will get changed when user change the requester name. Okay, so let's first have a little demo that how this variable set we can use in a catalog item, and then I will implement the second requirement so that you have a better idea of the same. Okay, so here we are done with this variable set. Okay, so now let's see how we can use this variable set in a catalog item or in an order guide. So I am saying that I am creating a new catalog item. Okay, so go to maintain item, then click on new button. Now here let's say I am saying demo catalog item use. Just you can give any name over here, then you can give catalog name. I am saying service catalog. Okay, you can give any category which you want. I am saying okay, software. Okay, now we have to give item details or like a process engine. So I'm not giving all this stuff. So I have already created the videos for the creation of catalog item or development of a catalog item and order guide. You can refer those videos if you want a little understanding on catalog items and order guide creation. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to attach a variable set, and then we will see that how the functionality works. So I click on save. So once I click a catalog item, see under related list at the bottom we had variables, variable sets. So as I have mentioned earlier that we can create a variable set from the catalog item as well. So we can create a variable set from here as well by clicking on new. The same forms which we get over here get appears, and we can write a variable set from here as well, even though we can attach an existing variable set from here, like let's say from the edit. Okay, so in this way, as I have mentioned in this slide, that variable set is reusable and we can use a variable set in a multiple catalog items. Okay, so where we want to use it, what we have to do, we have to go over here, then we have to click on edit, and there we have options of the variable sets which we have in the system. See here, this is the requester details which we have created. So I am moving this in a slush bucket over here, and then I'm just saving it. So once it gets saved, it means whatever variables we have created in a variable set will be available in this catalog item. Okay, so this is the basically use of a variable set, that we don't need to create a variables again and again. We don't need to write a code for those variables again and again. What we have to do when we are creating a catalog item, we directly go to this section, then we have to click on edit, and we have to use that variable set. Okay, in this way the variable set is reusable, even though it will save the time of a developer. Okay, and even though as we know that all the catalog items having a requester name, requester details, right? So we can create a variable set for this type of variables. Okay, so now we are done with the variable set. Let's try it. So I am clicking on try it button. See, once I click on try it, see the three fields which we have created here: requester, phone and email. See, requester, phone and email has been created, okay, with the title name which we have given earlier that form when I click the checkbox title, right? Now here this is the help section, okay, and here when we hover the mouse, this is the tooltip section. So in this way we can create a variable set. So the first requirement which we have written, when the form gets loaded, then the logged in user details, it will get populated, okay. But now when we change the value, let's say I am saying able tutor, so the values is not getting refreshed, even not getting changed. See, these two values are from the previous entry, that is of system administrator. Now we have to write a code for the same. So here in the sheet we have a second requirement is that field values such as email and phone number will get changed when user change the requester name, okay. So it means we have to write a script for the on change. When a requester name will get changed, let's say when the requester change the name to any user, let's say able tutor, then the value will get changed. Here the value is not getting changed. See, it is from the previous record, that is of system administrator. So let's navigate to variable set again to write a on change catalog client script. Open this. See, under catalog client script we have an option to create, same as we have did for on load. So I am going to click on a new button. Here I am saying requester details on change, same as variable set desktop, same as I have did for on load. Here I have to select the type, that is on change. Once I click on on change, see we have a new field, that is variable name, that at what variable name or what field when the value get changed, then the code will get executed, okay. So what I am saying is the variable name is requester, okay. On the change of a requester value, the code will get executed right here. When the requester name will get changed, then the phone and the email of that user will get populated, right? So here where we are doing coding, we are doing coding over here, that is a new record, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is that the code which we have written for the on load, I am copying this code and I'm pasting this code over here because I can use this code, okay. So here this is basically for a logged in user, it means we don't need this. I'm removing this from the on change. Here this glide record query will work because anyhow we need to fetch the values from sys underscore user table, right? So we need a sys id over here first. So I am saying that g underscore form dot get value of a requester name. So friends, please remember that whenever we are getting a value of a reference field, then it will not give us this able tutor name. This will give us sys id of that user, okay. So this will revert as a sys id, okay, not a username. So what we are going to do, we are capturing that sys id or storing a sys id in a variable requester sys id, okay. So this will give you understanding that this will revert a sys id of a requester. Now I have to use this sys id in a glide record so that we can perform a query. So here it was earlier in the on load was sys underscore user dot user id, which was also giving a sys id of a logged in user, okay. But here we need a sys id of a user which we have changed in a field. So I am giving over here like this. I am using this variable over here. Now it will perform a query and it will give us a value of a phone and an email, right? So now I am saving this form. Now we are done with the code of on change and on load. So we have done the coding for the 1 and 2 both. Now navigate to a catalog which we have demoed a few minutes back. So here we have some fields. Now I am loading this page again. Once the form gets loaded, the first requirement that the details of a logged in user will get filled. See, working fine. Now if I am changing the user, to able tutor. See, this email ID and the phone number get changed. Now again I am changing the detail with some other user, let's say Alfonso something. Then see, email ID was there, so it is getting displayed. Phone number was not available for the Alfonso, that's why it's not getting displayed over here. Now again I am changing it to some other user, say Abraham Lincoln. See, it does not have a phone, that's why it's not getting displayed over here, right? Now again I am changing to able tutor. See, now this functionality is working fine. So in this way we have implemented the required 2 functionalities. Okay, so let's see how we can use this variable set, how this is reusable, because we have only used this variable set in a single item, single catalog item, right? So if you want to use this variable set in another item, so you can say maintain item. Okay, so earlier we have created one catalog item like demo catalog item use. Now we are creating another catalog item. Let's say another catalog item. I'm not giving rest of the values because I want to wrap up this video a little soon. So here we save this record. Now here we have variable set, right, as we have earlier in the catalog item. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm editing a variable set of this catalog items, and here in the slush bucket we have this requested details. I move forward it and click on save button. Okay, so now in this way we can use a variable set in lots of catalog items where we want. We don't need to write code again and again. We don't need to get a variables for the same again and again. Okay, and the rest of the variables as per the requirement you can create from here. Okay, now I'm clicking on try it button. Let's see. See, this functionality is working for that catalog item also, another catalog item. See, so in this way the variable set is useful for a developer to create a catalog item, to create an order guide. Okay, in the same manner we can use the variable set in order guide. So you can refer the videos of order guide and the catalog items. They are available in my video list of my YouTube channel. Okay friends, so I believe this video gives you a complete understanding of a variable set, and this will help you to implement the variable set in a catalog item and the order guide. So friends, if you have not subscribed my channel till yet, please do subscribe my YouTube channel Basico ServiceNow Learning. Okay friends, so thank you friends, have a nice day, bye bye, stay healthy, stay fit, stay motivated.